Anybody here know what manifest destiny means? First used in 1845, the term manifest destiny to convey the meaning or the American expansionism. It probably started a few wars, as we moved west through Texas. Right, Texas guys? Oh yeah. What was the Alamo? That was all this mindset of manifest destiny. But I personally believe early Americans and you guys here today, it's about the quest for the American dream. The American dream, you guys are all here because everybody wants the American, I still want the American dream, right? That's why, are we all here for the American dream? We've inspired third world countries across the globe. Look at China. They're still a communist nation, but guess what their economy is? It's a market-based economy. They copied our economy for the most part. The idea of the American dream, the idea of this has triggered entrepreneurs all across the world. America's literally brought third world countries out of despair, disease, and death because of this dream. We did that. Nobody else. America coined the phrase to get money, to make money, and to get rich. You guys know that? That didn't exist before we got here. Serfs, peasants, the whole state of Europe was under, if you were born a potato farmer, you died a potato farmer. This idea that you can think and become something you want, that didn't exist. We set that. You can become whatever you want. That's inherent in our roots. Most people grow up, hey man, I want to be rich. I want to make money. I want to do this. But a lot of times everybody says that. It's like an American thing. But they don't lay out the concrete plan. What do I do every year, every month, every week, every day? How do I execute to achieve that bigger goal? You look back in the 20s, so talk about the American dream, the 1920s, we invented the telegraph, the TV, the assembly line for the Model T, the jukebox. All that stuff was invented by the 20s by Americans. Those inventions changed the world. You could say we're in the roaring 20s right now. Again, we're inventing, look at virtual reality. I didn't know shit about virtual reality last year. I saw it on Facebook popping up, Oculus. And I was like, wow, these guys are playing video games, and why not create training? So one of the things I like to ask is, what's the difference between a company that does $1 million, $10 million, or $100 million in sales? Anybody know? Ultimately, the difference is one entrepreneur that does one does 10, one does 100. It's two things. It's a natural skill set you're born with, imagination and willpower, which is nothing more than goal setting and the ability to execute, right? I know it sounds simple. A lot of people have the imagination, but they don't execute. The prefrontal cortex is that part of the brain that grew like 125,000 years ago. Now, some people call it God, aliens, evolution. I don't get into all that because everybody's got a different view. But it's proven fact science that this part of our brain, the front part, 1.25 inches, somehow sprang up about maybe it was after the invention of fire when people started cooking food. Who knows? Because back then we were chewing on roots for 8 hours a day. You can't really grow your brain chewing on roots 8 hours a day. But, it's funny, guys. But this part of our brain, this part of our brain is really, it's the part of our brain that allows the entrepreneur or any human to project the future like a flight simulator. Planes, trains, automobiles. That started as an idea. Go back to the 20s. Somebody thought about that jukebox and they used their fingers and their opposable thumbs, which is execution, to create it. That's what makes us different than every other species on the planet. No other species on the planet has a prefrontal cortex part of their brain and can project the future like a flight simulator. That's what makes the entrepreneur special. Somebody's tapping into that and using it more than others. They're more aware and ain't afraid to get up the next day and then make shit happen. And that's really what it comes down to. There's a lot of other things like, well, they got a budget and they got this. If you don't have that base and you don't execute it, then you're wasting your net. It doesn't cost you anything for that. You're born with that. Saturday, how many people are going with us to Camelback Mountain for the hike? Camelback Mountain is a bell-shaped curve. Camelback Mountain, look, this is a bell-shaped curve. It's not the whole mountain, but it goes up, it goes down. So this whole theme of this conference is scale it. We talked a little bit about bell-shaped curves, the dips. Some just see Camelback Mountain. When I drive by it, I see a bell-shaped curve with a dip, a critical intervention point of the leader, another dip, and another rise down the road. Whenever I see a mountain, that's what I see. And you guys should see the same thing because what you have to know when you leave here, those dips, some entrepreneurs reach new heights. I think a lot of them because of the dips. Most great ideas, products, all that stuff, new business processes are born out of a pain. They're usually not born when you're walking on water, like when I was 31, right? And then, because of those dips, they can make you better, stronger, faster. And also, if you ain't paying attention to the dip and you think you're gonna walk on water forever, that same dip can cause you to fall forever, right? So you have to understand the dips and how to react to them. Your ability to react to the dip is very critical, to make that next jump in your business. Most of you guys, I think everybody in this room, has probably hit rock bottom at some point. Anybody here not hit rock bottom? Raise your hand. So at some point, maybe you're 18, maybe you're 30, whatever, your business, might be your personal life. And they're ashamed. A lot of people don't talk about it. They're ashamed. That's why I want to bring up, I get up here and go, hey man, I did millions and blah, 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 blah. Everybody says that. But it's more important to talk about the rock bottom part and how you evolved out of that situation. You know, a lot of people don't talk about it. I didn't talk about it back in 2012. I didn't share that with anybody. I just put my head down and worked because I was ashamed. But my best business, again, my best launches, product launch ideas were born at the bottom, you know, not at the top when you're walking on water. So me personally, I'm not afraid of the bottom, I'm afraid of the top.